It occurs to me I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the writer that I'm about to introduce. I certainly wouldn't know at least half of my friends. For that, there aren't words. Clark was in Providence last night doing a collaborative performance with Alvin Curran. You might want to get Alvin's recent double CD, Maritime Rights, which features contributions from Clark and George Lewis, Steve Lacy, John Cage, many others. David, he gives me the thumbs up. Excuse that brief interlude. All of which was true. You know, it's a real thrill for all of us here at the Poetry Project to welcome Clark Coolidge back for his 16th Wednesday night reading since he first read here almost exactly 36 years ago. He hasn't read here since March 1994, an oversight that has not gone unpunished. Coolidge's work is a central and unavoidable fact of the new American poetry and beyond. His many books include Flag Flutter and US Electric, Clark Coolidge, Ing, Space, The So, Suite 5, my favorite book of 1973, The Maintains, Polaroid, Quartz Hearts, Own Face, Smithsonian Depositions Subject to a Film, American Ones, A Geology, Research, Mine, the One That Enters the Stories, which was recently republished as the swan song of Jeff Young's much-missed press, The Figures, and which is available for sale in back, as my colleague Anselm Berrigan would say. The Crystal Text, Solution Passage, Melancholia, Mesh, At Egypt, Sound of Thought, Odes of Rober, The Book of During, The Rover Improvisations, Registers, People in All, Keys to the Caverns, On the Nameways, Volumes 1 and 2, Bomb with Keith Waldrop, Alien Tatters, and Far Out West. These last few also available in back. I can't think of any other writer of recent decades who has so exhaustively explored and reinvented the language for their own ends prior to picking up the ball and running with it. From the first works of the early to mid-60s, when Coolidge would put one word next to another to see what would then happen to them both, this at a time when word salad was a highly nutritious meal in itself, through to the works of reductive syntax collected in Space and the ensuing explorations of nouns and prepositions of the Maintains and Polaroid. It seems to me that Coolidge only allowed himself to write in whole sentences once he had remade the entire language to his satisfaction, and surely the resulting prosoid work, usually referred to as the long prose, is one of the great underground manuscripts of our time, along with Bernadette Mayer's Studying Hunger journals. Indeed, I would delicately suggest that much of the prose poetry written in the later 1970s and 1980s by, among others, the so-called language poets, might not have been written without Coolidge and Mayer's pioneering example. Once Coolidge had recast the terms to his liking, he was, of course, free to flood the linguistic field with his manifold other concerns, and we see this to darkly stunning and always musical effect in Own Face and the many, many other books that have followed since. I think of Coolidge's dream from April 1980. Kerouac's widow tries to persuade him to relinquish some of his unpublished writings, and Kerouac blocks this, saying, writing settles nothing. Please welcome Clark Coolidge back to the Poetry Project.